This is the video for you if you want to learn a technically sound serve without getting frustrated. Why would you get frustrated learning the serve with the correct grip, the continental grip? Well, the grip itself doesn't make things easy. Finding and maintaining the continental grip is a source of frustration already. But then we're doing something to you as coaches that I have actually stopped doing. Usually we start off players in the correct grip to hit a slice serve. And I stopped doing that because I really think you should be learning the flat serve, of course, with the right grip first. And here's why. For many players, especially the players that have been serving with the wrong grip for a long time, the concept of making contact flat on, meaning that there's absolutely zero angle when you're making contact with the ball. The racket head is not tilted in any which way. It also is a lot easier to understand how with a flat serve you can place the ball, because you will send the ball in exactly the direction that your racket face, your strings, are pointing when you're making contact. When you get the wrong coaching cues, such as you have to cut the slice or you have to carve around the ball, that makes it really difficult to understand what you're actually supposed to do. Whereas when I say make flat contact, doing this, obviously further up, makes a lot more sense to people. It's completely flat. You completely square it up to the ball. Now, given those wrong coaching cues, as in slice around the ball, carve around the ball, cut the ball, players misunderstand that and most of the time are doing it way too much, meaning that their racket faces sometimes literally are facing to the wall right here. And how are you going to get a ball over if you're cutting by that ball? So again, making flat contact, easier to understand. And yes, obviously, once you have mastered the flat serve, you want to work on your slice serve because the added spin does make it more safe, but it doesn't make it easier to learn because it takes a while until you have really fine calibrated the exact angle that you need to impart spin, but to still get the ball over. So how does the flat serve work? We have to start with the grip. Take your dominant hand, this point here on your index finger knuckle, and the meatiest part of your palm are the 2 points, the 2 reference points that want to be on bevel number 2. So as a right-hander, if you look at your racket this way, the top bevel is number 1. Number 2 is that slightly slimmer one on top. So again, I have my meaty part of the palm and the underside of my index finger knuckle. That is my continental grip. And if you're looking down on your hand like this is what it should look like. You see the top bevel ever so slightly to the left of your index finger knuckle. Also feels as if you're coming in to shake hands with somebody. At first, it kind of feels impossible that if you do have the right grip, how on earth, when I'm reaching up, am I going to make full-on square contact? Because if I'm just reaching up with the correct grip, I'm doing this, right? I hit it over right with my frame. So let's break down what needs to happen when you're accelerating up to contact point. If you just do that with your hand, because basically the racket is an extension of your hand with the continental grip. So if you were to just reach up here, you would hit the wall with the edge of your hand. If I want to make flat contact, I'm turning my thumb inside out. And of course I want to do that while I'm positioned sideways as if I were to serve. If I'm just standing here, I do end up hitting with the wrong grip. You're reaching up, extending your elbow, and you turn your thumb towards the outside. And everybody knows by now what that's called. That's called pronation. Next step, just simply go into no man's land right here. Proper grip. Position yourself as if you were to serve properly, meaning that I'm lined up with my left shoulder, with my left hips facing towards the court. And I start my motion in a letter L and choked up, because again, that makes it so much easier to control the racket. Now you also want to pay attention to your tossing arm. You want to keep it straight and have it pointed towards the back corner on the outside. Because if I'm now releasing the ball at about eye level, I have the perfect toss for my flat serve. It's a very misleading coaching cue, and or just perception that players picked up somewhere, I don't know where, is that you have to toss the ball further to the right when you hit a slice serve. And that is not true. You can hit a slice from the exact same position that you would hit a flat serve. If you're tossing it too far out when you're learning the slice serve, to then fine calibrate exactly how you need to make contact with a bad toss is really difficult and leads to a ton of frustration. So let's keep it very simple on the toss. And now I'm working on just making contact completely flat on. Ideally, I do not want to see the seams of the ball swirl, because that would imply that I'm giving it some kind of spin. Gradually move back and also slide further down on the grip until you have the feeling that you can add the full motion. But just to show you a couple more times. That's a flat serve. That's what you want. Once you're all the way back here, just keep checking your stance. Make sure your left shoulder, your left hip, for a right-hander of course, are pointing towards the box that you want to hit into. The tip of your toe should be facing to about between the two lines, singles and doubles alley. And when you're tossing, your toss arm should now be pointing to the net post, because that gives you the exact perfect location where you want that 12:30 to 1 o'clock contact point. And again, you can use that contact point for both slice and the flat. So when you're swinging up, leading with the edge of the racket, that variation from coming from behind the ball to now making contact for a wider serve and swinging up here, with the human eye, you can't see that. It is that small. All you want to think of is coming from leading with the edge to flattening up your strings exactly to where you want the ball to go when you're making contact. And remember also that this is to get a reliable serve, not to hit one ball with Mach 500, but you're missing 8 out of 10. You make this motion automatic, you got a solidified, solid serve there with your flat serve. You can, of course, you should, of course, move on to the slice serve. And if you want to learn that and not fall for the myth of having to cut around the ball, you want to check out this video.